Well, everything we said, all the things that we have said about the inversions, also applies to all the different chords that we have, both for the major and the minor scales, and of course on every degree of each scale. So, for example, I can take the C major scale and I can try to do the same for each degree, so that you can so that we can know that we can see how to do this. We have already done this for the first degree when we build the root position chord and first inversion and second inversion on the first degree. Now then, let's try this on the second degree. So this is the second degree, and of course if I'm using the D note as a bass, I will have the D minor chord in root position, and if I use F as a bass, I will have the first inversion, and with A as a bass, I will have the second inversion. The same, of course, applies to the third degree. So E minor, this is E minor in root position, E minor in first inversion, E minor chord in second inversion. F major, so the fourth degree, F major in root position, F major in first inversion and in second inversion, G major in root position, in first and in second inversion, A minor, so the sixth degree, and in root position. This is in first inversion, and this is second inversion. And then, of course, I can also try this with the seventh degree, so B diminished chord in root position. This is in first inversion, and this is in second inversion. Well, so since we have introduced the bass, and of course we have seen that depending on the note that I'm using on the bass, I have different musical solution, because I hear I really hear different musical situation depending on which note I use as a bass for the same chord. In this way, I will have a higher number of chords even using the same major or minor scale. Because let's take the major scale. In the major scale, I have built seventh chords. But of course we have said that since I can use 3 different notes for each chord as a bass note, I will have I will have 3 different ways of using each chord for each degree, and so I will have, as a total, I will have 21 different harmonic tools, because I will have 7 degrees, and for each degree, for each chord on the corresponding degree, I will have 3 different ways of using it depending on the note of the bass note. So this way I'm achieving a greater variety. I will have a higher number of harmonic tools. So this is quite clear, but it is something very important. So only by introducing the concept of bass, and so being able in this way to have being able to choose between different bass solutions, we have this way a greater variety, a greater musical variety. Of course, now I want to point out, before we end the lesson, I want to point out something very important, because sometimes people get confused with the concept of inversion. In fact, it often happens that people think that the inversion is a concept tied to the way in which I play the chord. I mean, I can play this chord, so I'm using only the right hand, and I'm playing this way, so C, E, G. But of course, since the notes of this chord are C, E, and G, I can also play this chord in this position, E, G, C. I'm always using the same notes, but I'm having a different position of this chord. And then again, I can try this. So G, C, and E. Then again, I have all the same notes, but I'm using a different position. So it often happens that people think that these are the different inversion, and they called these different position, since they are, because they really are only different positions of using, different ways of using the same chord, of playing the same chord. They call them inversion, but it is wrong, because the concept of inversion is only tied to the note that I choose as a bass. So the concept of inversion is only tied to the bass note. So this is an inversion, the first inversion. This is a second inversion. And this is something very important. It is not a question of naming. It is not a question of terms, because the concept of inversion is something which affects the whole musical result, the whole harmonic result. So the bass can affect the musical result, the harmonic result, because we have already seen that depending on which bass I use, I will have different harmonics which are mixed with this chord. But changing the chord position doesn't affect the whole musical, the harmonic result, because in this way I'm not having different results. So, and this is something very important. Using this different position doesn't give me a different chord, but only changing the bass can change my chord. So let's try this. I mean, if I'm using this, okay. This we already know that this is a C major chord. So this is a C major chord in root position. This is in first and in second inversion. This is again a C major chord in root position, in first inversion and in second inversion, and this again is a C major chord in root position, in first and in second inversion. So it is only the bass that can affect the whole harmonic result. So please pay attention to this aspect. These are only different ways of playing the same chord, but this is not. I mean, it is not correct to call them inversion, because when you speak about inversion, we mean that we are changing our musical result. We have some different harmonic results. Okay, this is something very important that I wanted to point out, because as I said before, very often people get confused with this, and it is very important. So when we talked about first inversion, root position, only think about the bass note. Okay. Now that we are going to end the lesson, and I want to point out that in this way, so by introducing the very important concept of inversion, we have opened a new door. And this is something very important, because on one side, this will allow us to have a larger array of musical possibilities. Of course, we will have many new musical possibilities. In a very simple way, we can understand it. We have understood it, of course, only by the fact that we can have for the same chord three different ways of using it, three different solutions depending on the bass. But it is not only this, it is not only a question of larger array of musical possibilities. In the next lesson, we will approach a very important aspect. We will see that the introduction of this concept of inversion can give us a lot of advantages, and we will have different kind of advantages. We will have different harmonic solution, but we will also have different and various expression tools. So using in a different way the inversion or the root position and so on, we will we can switch from one expression from one situation to the other. So in the next lesson we will see in practice how to do this. So as you can see, we are going on in the study of harmony, and we are in every lesson we are finding out many new aspects, and then of course we are going to put into practice so that we will be able to, we will improve our skills and of harmony and composing. So see you in the next lesson.